Grow with Dr. Joanette. We are going to be making crispy fish street tacos. These tacos are a corn taco base with crispy fried fish, a delicious red cabbage and carrot slaw, as well as one of my favorite toppings, a avocado crema. So let's get cooking. But before we get started, I want to remind you that if you find this content valuable and want me to bring you more of this content, please click that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my recipes here on Grow with Dr. Joanette. Also, make sure you watch all the way to the end. You are not going to want to miss this neuronutrition nugget about omega-3 fatty acids and why they are essential for a good brain as well as a healthy body. So, once again, let's get cooking. We're going to start with making our cabbage. We are going to start with making our red cabbage slaw that will go in the taco. For this recipe, we are going to be using red cabbage. We're also going to be using carrots, some cilantro, lime juice, and honey. My next door neighbor is a beekeeper, and every year I go over there and stock up on their honey. It's delicious, and also I know that part of the honey comes from my own flowers in my own gardens, as I see their bees over in my gardens a lot of the time. This honey says handmade in the Hudson Valley, berry and stitch honey from our busy backyard bees. So let's get cooking. I like to use a food processor to slice the cabbage extra thin. For this particular slaw, and because the street tacos are so little, the food processor slices it in a really fine, nice consistency that we want to use for our tacos. So I am using a 𝗘𝗏𝗿𝗶𝗲𝗍 food processor. You can go to my store on my website and click on a link to see where you can purchase it. So we're going to slice the cabbage, and then I'm going to change blades and we will grate the carrots. I like the blade in this particular processor because you can adjust the slicing depth. So you can slice things very thick or very fine, which is what we're doing today. I think it has something like 8 different settings. Put this other piece in here. You can see here how nice and fine the cabbage is sliced. This is perfect for a small street taco. So I'm going to set that aside and put that in a bowl. We only need 2 cups, but I also like to make coleslaw. So if I have extra, I go ahead and just put it in a bowl and save it for coleslaw for later. You put about 2 cups in here. That looks like a good amount for the tacos. Let's see, I'm going to put the rest. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in my blade for grating my carrots. This blade, I like it because it has 2 different settings. Basically, I put it on this way and I get a thicker shredded carrot or a thicker shredded vegetable, and I put it on this way and it's a much finer shredded vegetable. I'm not going to worry about getting all of the carrots off of or all of the cabbage off of there, because I'm not going to worry about getting all the cabbage off of there because after all, we are mixing them together here shortly. Let's start with about this much carrot here. I'll probably end up with more carrots than I need, but that's okay because I like to save the extra carrots or use the extra carrots in coleslaw. The recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of carrots, and it's definitely a little more than a 1/2 cup, but we'll add about a 1/2 cup to our coleslaw here, or our cabbage slaw, and we'll save the rest for our coleslaw at another time. Now to our cabbage slaw, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lime. If your lime is a real juicy lime, 1/2 of a lime is usually enough. I start with a 1/2 a lime, and then once I'm done, I taste it and see if I want more. We're going to add a tablespoon of honey from 𝗘𝗏𝗄𝗃 and Stitch, and some finely chopped cilantro. About 1 to 2 tablespoons of this finely chopped cilantro. We're going to mix that together, and we'll set it aside. The honey takes a little bit to kind of dissolve or melt into the slaw. Adds a little bit of sweetness to it that I love. And also the slaw gives such a nice crunch to your Mexican street taco. We're going to mix this up just a little bit more here. So the last thing you want to add into your slaw is some spice or some heat. Jalapeno peppers. If you don't like heat or spice, you can leave the jalapeno peppers out. We're also going to add a little bit of salt here at the end. So I have a small jalapeno pepper here. This is actually about 1/2 of it, 1/2 of a pepper. You want to take out the heat or the spice for a lot of time for the pepper is the membranes and the seeds. So you want to take out the seeds and the membranes if you want to cut down on the amount of heat. If you really like it extra spicy, go ahead, leave the seeds in or the membranes in or both in. I'm going to go ahead and chop this up right now. I like my jalapenos chopped really fine so that they mix in well. I don't like to get a bite of hot jalapenos. I like just a nice even spice in my slaw. So let's go ahead and add that to our slaw. And I'm also going to go ahead and add some salt to the slaw. Okay, let's finish mixing that up real quick. And we're going to set it aside in the fridge while we go ahead and make our avocado crema. So now we're going to go ahead and make our avocado crema. I like to start by mashing the avocado first. How do you tell if an avocado is ripe? A lot of people squish it and bruise it, but the best way to tell if an avocado is ripe is to just take, and if the little stem at the top here comes out really easily, your avocado is ripe. Go ahead and cut your avocado in half. And now you have to get the pit out of the avocado. The best way to actually get the pit out of the avocado is to take your knife and sink it into the avocado, being careful that you don't cut yourself, obviously. Twist the knife a little bit and the pit comes out on the knife. Go ahead and take the pit off the knife, and you've got your pit out of your avocado. I have a little avocado slicer that I like, especially if I'm making slices of avocado. This works great for getting the avocado out of the shell into nice slices. You can see here it comes out of the shell really well, and you have nice slices if you wanted to use them on something. We're going to just go ahead and mash them up. We'll do the same for the other half of the avocado, and go ahead and mash the avocado up. And we're going to go ahead and add a half a cup of the sour cream to our mashed avocado. And then next we're going to add 2 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lime juice. Didn't get a lot of juice. I didn't get a lot of juice out of that lime, so I'm going to cut this other one in half and use it as well. As I like plenty of lime juice in my avocado crema. And a teaspoon of ground cumin. And finally, a little bit of wasabi. If you don't have wasabi, you can use jalapeno peppers instead. Now we're going to mix that all together. I want to add a little salt to it. And we're going to set it aside in our fridge while we get our crispy fried fish ready to go. Let's go ahead and make our fish for our fish tacos now. To make our crispy fried fish, we're going to start with making a batter. I have a pound of grouper fillets here that I've cut into about 1/2-inch strips. There's a couple of fillets here, and we're going to set those aside for right now and go ahead and make the batter for the fish. I'm also heating up some oil in my deep fryer. You don't need to use a deep fryer. You could actually use a Dutch oven. Put a couple inches of oil in it and it would work just fine if you don't have a deep fryer. I have a deep fryer, so we're going to go ahead and use that. If you want to know what brand it is, go ahead, go to my website at drjoanette.com, where you can go to my shop and find the deep fryer. I'm going to go ahead now and make my batter. For the batter, we're going to start with using either all-purpose flour or brown rice flour. To that, we're going to add some cumin, probably about a teaspoon of cumin, some smoky paprika, about a teaspoon, and some root beer. If you don't have root beer, you could use seltzer as well. I used 1/2 cup of the rice flour, and we're gonna need to add a little more root beer than what I have. So I got my root beer bottle here. I started with about 1/2 cup. I'm adding about another 1/4 cup of the root beer. We want a batter that's gonna coat the fish. Sometimes it seems like your rice flour actually requires more root beer than your all-purpose flour. That's a better consistency. And I'm going to add a little salt to that. You could even add a little cayenne pepper if you want some extra spice in your batter. Let's go ahead and start coating our fish. I've patted these fish dry. I cut them into fairly small strips in order for them to fit in our street tacos. I'll take the cover off of here, and we'll put a couple of pieces of our fish in here. Coat them nicely. the deep fryer. That's better. Doesn't take very long. We probably only need to fry them a couple of minutes. Those are looking nice and crispy. I'm gonna take them and put them on my grate here with a couple of paper towels under it. While those are cooking, let's go ahead and talk about our SAS Simplest Smart Tip. For our Simplest Smart Tip today, I am using rice flour. If you have gluten, someone in your family who is gluten intolerant or even allergic to gluten, rice flour for this recipe is a great alternative for you to use. I actually like it a little bit better because it seems like it coats the fish a little bit better and they're a little crispier. So even if you aren't gluten intolerant or gluten-free, try rice flour. I use brown rice flour. There's other rice flours you can use, but I use brown rice flour in this recipe. You can get it at most of your supermarkets now in the gluten-free section. These are looking good. For today's neuronutrition nugget, we are going to talk about omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids are a polyunsaturated fatty acid in our body. They are an important and even essential component of every cell, of the membrane of every cell in our body. Our body does not make enough omega-3 fatty acids, so we have to take it in our diet in order to maintain healthy cells throughout our body. This includes our brain. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you may have to supplement your diet with omega-3 fatty acid supplements. However, if you enjoy fish and you like fish, fish is one of the best ways to get additional omega-3 fatty acid in your diet. The types of fish that are high in omega-3 fatty acid are your salmon, your trout, mackerel, as well as sardines. These are all cold water fish. Trout love cold mountain streams and lakes, and salmon, of course, loves the Atlantic Ocean, which is very cold. Today's fish is grouper, which is one of the fishes that has omega-3 fatty acids, but does not have a high content of the omega-3 fatty acids. So what about these fatty acids make it such an important fatty acid for our brain? The reason it's important is that there was a study done, there's been a number of studies, but the most recent study done that I could find was done in 2015, and they looked at what happens if you don't have enough of this omega-3 fatty acid in your diet. What they discovered was people over the age of 65 who didn't have enough omega-3 fatty acid in their diet had a more rapid rate of cognitive decline. In other words, their ability to think and reason and really just function declined more rapidly. They also had a higher rate and a more rapid progression of dementia if they developed dementia. They also noted that there was more of an overall loss of the gray matter within their brain. The gray matter is that part of our brain that lets us function, lets us think, lets us reason, lets us regulate our emotions, lets us move, and really is the part of our brain that gives us our quality of life. So whether you're young or whether you're old, it's important to get plenty of omega-3 fatty acids in your diet, and fish is an excellent way to supplement your diet and and improve not only your brain, but your body health. Let's go ahead now and make our tacos. As you can see here, I have put the slaw as well as the avocado creme in a couple of bowls. I'm going to set those aside and we're going to get cooking on our tacos. Now it's time to go ahead and assemble our tacos. I've warmed up some corn street tacos. If you have corn street tacos, you can use either flour tacos or corn tacos. Either one will work great. I like the corn tacos. I like to warm them up. I just like to wrap them in a damp paper towel and warm them up in about a 300-degree oven for maybe 10-15 minutes. And that makes them nice and soft and warm and perfect for the tacos. Some people like to heat them in a frying pan with a little bit of oil. Whatever your preference is, go ahead and warm up your tacos and let's assemble them. Take a taco, probably just one piece of fish since these are small. Add a little of your slaw. Top with a little of the crema. And if you want, add a little extra cilantro. I've chopped up, and that's pretty much it. Go ahead and enjoy. So there you have it, today's crispy fish street tacos. I hope you enjoyed cooking along with me today, if you were able to cook along, or just enjoyed watching this recipe. If you found this content valuable and enjoyed cooking along today, please click the like button, subscribe, as it helps my analytics and helps me be able to bring you more great healthy recipes, as well as information about how nutrition and what we eat affects how our brain functions and how our body functions. In addition, it'll help me achieve one of my personal goals, which is to get 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year.